G'day, it's Dave, and in this Sappycast, I'm going to be continuing on the YouTube automation challenge that I was working on. I've developed this mind map. What we're going to do today is have a look through, make sure everything is in place, develop a project plan. I'm going to also do that by testing out the same project plan on two different tools. I'm going to try Trello, I'm going to try ClickUp, just to see which one I like using the most. There'll definitely be some sort of Kanban sort of layout going on. Now let's work through this mind map we have here. So we worked out that we have some channels. We have trend 10, which is going to be about trending topics, and the magic of 10, which is going to be some sort of evergreen videos. Now, I do know I need to expand on this idea a little bit further. We might come back to that one. There is then a process that we're going to work through. So with the channel, there'll be niche research of categories and topics, getting a list of videos, figuring out what the YouTube competitors and doing niche valuations. And that's what's going to be required when we come back and look at the evergreen videos. Is there'll probably be a sub niche that I want to focus on, and understanding niche valuations, which it can be things like CPM, the monetization per, and then we've got the video research of the process, where we have identified that there'll need to be keyword research for each video, then there'll need to be research onto the topic. This will generate a title. From that, we'll create a thumbnail. Then we'll pass it off to script writers who will probably use GPT bots to help give consistent information for scripts. This stuff will then create the intro, the script, and the outro, where it says CTA, the idea that there should be a call to action in each of these as well. The reason it's been important to get the process and what makes it part of today's video is that I'm going to create these project management plans. Essentially, it's just going to be the information that you see in here, especially when I create the project plan template. Move over to this section called structural requirements. I've listed all the concepts that would be on the YouTube page itself. Description, about, channel banner, logos, trailers, added in a concept of channel branding. I could just copy all these, paste them over here. When I'm developing my project plan, that information is already associated with the channel branding. There may actually be just one task called channel branding, a bunch of subtasks for each of the channel branding concepts. I can delegate these out either to myself to work on or to one or more team members. Next area to look at is building a team. Going to figure out where to find them, how much, who the different roles and responsibilities, thumbnail designer, script writer, etc. I'm doing this on a budget at the moment, so to be honest, this will probably be myself and my friend Adam will work through these, but we may outsource some things that just totally make sense to be done by someone else. What I'm also starting to see here as I develop this mind map is, rather than move this around, I'm just going to add a section to the process called build a team. What we're calling a process is now starting to become the project plan. So that then brings us into the area called project management. This is just a little holding point for what sort of tools and format I want to use. It's likely that the channel development, the building the team, will probably some sort of list project management tool. The actual videos themselves, because they go through a bunch of different states, so they go from ideation through to titles, thumbnails, script writing, video development. It's all cleaned up and closed off. It's published, moves on to things like social media, sending. With each and every video, you have this state flow that videos need to go through. This will be where a Kanban board would be a better technique. So we will check out Trello and ClickUp. I know Trello is probably a really good tool for this, but I've used ClickUp a fair bit more of late. I just want to know for myself which tool would be the best to work with. I think from a process project plan point of view, we can just say PM tool investigation. Production will be the implementation of these technologies, like how do you do the keyword research? I have a good idea of a lot of this, but I'm developing this on the fly as we go, as we work through the behind the scenes. A lot of these processes will be developed in the next couple of weeks as I work through all of this. Lastly, we have monetization. At the moment, it's just an umbrella term. We have not identified anything like affiliates or other monetization strategies to use. A lot of that can't really be worked through until I know the actual videos and video types that we're going to work on, because once you know the sort of video topics and videos that you're creating, you can then go identify affiliate systems. Maybe it's the Amazon affiliate system or one of the others that are out there. I'm not an expert here. This will require investigation by me. What we'll do now is develop the content for the project plan. Now, the project plan is essentially got the information that we've been developing on this mind map node. So what I can do here is click on the node and press copy. And at the moment, that information is stored in the clipboard in a hierarchical point of view. So if I move over to a product like Visual Studio, I can just paste that information directly in. There is one link, a hyperlink back to the mind map that I don't need here. We can look through this information. The data here is in Markdown format. The good thing is there's a plugin or within Visual Studio to see that in a more visual format. It can handle things like hyperlinks and other HTML formatting, but at the moment we just need the bullet points. The first item that we'll be working on, project management tool investigation, that's something we're doing in the next 10 or 15 minutes. I don't really need that as an entry into any project management plan. Working on the channel is, and whatever we do needs to be done twice. It needs to be done for the magic of 10 and for trend 10. Within that, there'll be a ticket for niche research. We're looking at what is the channel going to focus on, who is the target avatar, who is this channel aimed at, what are some topics and categories, what are a list of videos, who are the competitors, how can we get predicted niche valuations, and this will be important as we decide exactly which part of a niche should we focus on. And to put that in really simple terms, if I was doing top 10 trends on poetry, would not pay as much money as top 10 trends on crypto trading or artificial intelligence. That's the sort of stuff that I want to work out for the channel so that it's not just relatively easy for us to implement. The competition is okay that we can get into the market, but if it became successful, is it actually going to make decent money? Say something like $10 or $15 per thousand views versus 2 cents per thousand views. Now I'll look through, we've got the videos and we've got the building of the team. I'm going to just take this information, move it up, open it up into here. The reason for this is that I see the video project management as quite different to this section of project management, because the video project management is a repeating system. You might do 100 videos, exactly the same project management routine will happen for all 100 videos. But these other things are one-offs. Building a team, we're going to have to work out where to find a team, or whether myself and my friend Adam work on it together. Part of that will be determined by how much it would cost working with a team. This challenge is a test. It's not, I don't know whether this works. There are so many people selling this idea of YouTube automation. You'll make millions of dollars if you do it. Maybe, I don't know. at the moment, I wouldn't invest in something that I don't at least have a gut feel that it's going to work. As we develop a channel, there'll be what I would call the channel manager. That would be myself. And then there will be the thumbnail designer, the script writer, the voiceover artist, video editor. I think the only other thing missing is the keyword researcher or just researcher in general. Now, when we look at all of this, it's really just a list of tasks. The tasks that are going on are going to be repeated twice. I don't think I talked about this. This is really developing the multimedia assets, whether it be text assets such as the description and the About Us page, or whether it be visual ones like the logo. If we go down to the video, this is where we see the detailed ideas of what will go on. I won't go into it too much now because I think it'll really gel even for myself as I develop the project cards and start writing what would go on in every task. What we can move on to is having a look at the two project management tools that I'm thinking of, one called Trello, one called ClickUp. Let's just talk briefly about the difference between list or task or to-do style project management versus Kanban board. What I'm going to do is bring up a to-do list. So everyone knows what a to-do list is. You write it down on a piece of paper. It's a list of tasks. Most project management tools can do this. This is how I will organize the one-off tasks that I need to do around the channel development. But not everyone knows what a Kanban board is. These Google images show the idea of a Kanban board. You have a concept of these columns. You can name them however you like. You can put as many columns in as you want, but if you go too many columns, it can become a little bit challenging to manage. You might have a backlist of jobs. If you had 100 video ideas, they would probably go into a backlist or a backlog. What happens is when you're ready to work on a video, you would just drag one of the ideas into work in progress. If you look at the column headings that are here, backlog, work in progress, validate and complete, how you can come up with them is quite simple. If you go back and look at your original list of tasks that you need to do for the video, we would have the concept of a column called keyword. Looking at that image we just saw, backlog would be another thing that we need. Another term for backlog in this case could just be ideas. And when you're passing off information, you can just pick one of the ideas that you like and see what happens. A column for the keyword research, one for the general research, then someone would, after this is done, develop a title for what the video is going to be. From that we can create the thumbnail. We will take the information that we've got as headings here. When we get to our Kanban board, we will make sure that there's a column that just has each of those. Let's have a look at the two tools that I've used in the past. Let's make a decision. There's Trello. Looks like ClickUp is logging straight in for me. We'll come back to Trello and just click on the official website. And you can see there's a few boards and stuff that I've set up before. I haven't used this for quite a while. I think I stopped using it because I don't like it. But I do want to test them out properly with more than one or two people that are using it, just to see what they feel is the most efficient. It's good that I have visibility of projects, but it's better that my team can use the project management tasks efficiently. So for the first one or two videos or concepts, I will test both of them and make a decision. From Trello, we'll just click create a board. We'll call it trend 10 and we'll just say create. As you can see, it doesn't cost any money for under 10 by the looks of things. I believe I can just click this little button here. I will say magic of 10, create that board as well. It says start with a template. Maybe I needed to do that as well. We should test this, so we'll just create one called ABC. Start with a template. and see what's available. There's already this concept called Kanban template. Just go create, see what it comes up with. We're all ready. Now, I don't think we need this. I think you can just change it up here. We will see. So come back to our Trend 10. Come back to Visual Studio. I will copy this block of information. I'm not going to go down into individual tasks. I think the task will just be niche research. I'll keep these items. They'll probably go in the description. They might go into sub-items if that's supported by this tool. So we head back to the Trello board. We've got this concept of a board here. If I want tabular sort of formats or other formats, I'd have to pay for this product. I believe we just have board. I'm not going to paste in anything until I see what happens. So let's just go with ABC. How do we do it? We press add list. Let's put in my name instead. Let's do ABC, add list, XYZ. Under my name, it can be do this, add a card, do something else, add a card. ABC can be, we'll do a card called 1, we'll do a card called 2, X, we'll do a card called 3, and we'll do a card called 4. Let's just see whether these just move. They do, they move all the way through. Now, what that then leads me to think is that these lists that were being created are the Kanban board ideas. This would probably be a backlog. This one would probably be an in progress. The last one might be a complete. As I look at it, I think I actually want different sections, because I want a section that would be the list of tasks that are in backlog, and we were just looking at a couple of them, and then they go into progress and then they get completed. And then a separate section which would be all the workflows that we need to produce a video. Come back to here so you can see what I mean by a bigger set of lists where things go from the backlog to design and into to do. I would almost need a magic of 10 project management overview, followed by a magic of 10 video project management setup. Now, a lot of people love this. I don't like the way this is coming together. At this stage, I'm just going to abandon it. This is part of my investigation as to what project management tool I want to use. The fact that I probably need to have a workspace for the general tasks versus a workspace for the video tasks, I'm not sure that I feel comfortable with that, but you might feel really comfortable with it. If you love Trello, if you've used it in the past and you're trying to do YouTube automation, I encourage you to take this further than I'm going to take it in this session today. Let's just move straight over to ClickUp. I've used it in the past here. This is Fly Video. Let's just see whether we can add a new workspace here. We will call it Trend 10. I'm not going to worry about the magic of 10 until I've tested this out a little bit. We'll just give it a color. Blue will be good. When I get a logo, that would have gone there, but we don't have a logo just yet. I filled in a little bit of extra information. I also included Adam's email address. We're taken directly to this list format, and there's things called to do. What I believe I can do is just paste the information. Now it's notice that there are multiple lines detected. It's going to create 8 tasks. Most of these are actually subtasks of the other ones. So let's just see what that does. I thought that would be the case. I wonder if we can do an undo. An undo would be a nice thing right now, but we can't. We might just select them all. I wonder if they can just drag as subtasks under niche research. It looks like they can. One of the things I could do is have niche research as a task to work on. Then I could work through all these items. Another way of looking at it is I could go into niche research. We'll just get rid of this information. Call it one task. We go down here and we paste in the information. I think this is probably going to be a single task that I work through. Some of the features you can do is I can add Adam as a watcher, so anything I do on this task, he would see it. We can do time tracking, etc. Let's come back to the list. I'm going to delete these little tasks that we created. I believe there is a button up here. It's just here. It's called delete. We can delete all 8 of them at once. We'll come back to our Visual Studio, select this information. It's called channel branding. Get back into ClickUp. We'll add a new task. I'm just going to put a C here for now. If I pasted all that information, I'd get the split. We don't want that, so we'll just go in here, paste all the information we got here, take channel branding out of there, put it into the heading. Because these are actions that would really need to get taken care of one at a time, I've just made a decision on the fly here that while I will leave that there, they do need to be subtasks as well. Now, how do we do that? We have a concept of subtasks. There's this concept called multi-cursor in Visual Studio that allows you to select information and miss other information. So we really only want to copy these pieces of data, go back to our application, paste them straight in. It's saying 8 tasks. They're all being created, and you can see that they are tasks, but subtasks of the main channel branding concept. We can then expand out. This is not going to be a Kanban board. We'll come back to Visual Studio. We've got build our team. That's the heading we want. Where do we find them? I think in this case, this is all one task. Take all of this information as a copy. We can head back to ClickUp. In this case, I will just call it build team. We hit save. I'll go into the description and write down what it is we want to do. This is where we get onto video, and this really needs to be a Kanban board rather than a list like we're doing. Should we start it yet? We won't start it yet. The current segmentation we have is things are to be done, like a backlog, I guess. I believe if we click in here, we can create a new status. I do not know whether this creates a new grouping. We will test this out. We will call it in progress. Give it a color. Blue would be a good color for something that you're working on. I always like the pastel blues. We have it in progress. What that means is if I was to start work on it, I could just drag it up into the in progress. If Adam, who was working on this project, was to do it, I'd get notified, which is part of the goal of project management. We can go add one more status. We'll go in here, we'll say new status, we'll just say complete. We're keeping it very simple. The set of things that we're going to work through says it already exists. So I had an issue with the complete task, but I saw what it is. Let's just go create one called ABC. Hit save. I'm just going to click on this little button. There is already a complete by default. I don't know how configurable this is, but when you throw a task into complete, we can see it right now. That's because it's being shown, but by default it's not being shown. So that was partly why I was confused, because there was a closed status. I put it into closed and I went, where did it go? It went into an area not visible unless you quickly show the closed tasks. I don't know whether it's appropriate to delete. Yes, you can delete, so we will delete that one because it was just artificial. The other thing I've noticed is we have this concept called list inside this concept called space. So they're such generic terms that they don't make any sense. Now, since the tasks that I have here are all around the channel setup, I'm going to rename this list, rename, and we will call it channel config or setup. Might be the right way to go. Okay, let's change that, and it's showing up in here. Then there's this idea of space. I'm going to be creating two channels, Trend 10 and Magic of 10. Currently I've called the account Trend 10. It might be better off that I call this account YouTube Automation Challenge. Then I can have a space, which I'll rename, call that Trend 10. We have a space called Trend 10, which currently has a concept called Channel Setup. Channel Setup currently has 3 separate major tasks: the channel branding, the building a team, the niche research. The channel branding currently has a bunch of subtasks, whereas the other 2 tasks that I've created, they are just considered one task with a whole lot of things that might go on within it. This may not be right yet. We may want to build these out to subtasks. I wonder if it's appropriate to rename this right now. It's called Trend 10 right here. And there looks like there are settings at 2 levels on this screen. There's either for me, the owner of the account, or we'll just go to settings and we will call this YT automation. Hit the back button. We have YouTube automation. I can change over to other accounts I have, like where I work, one of my major channels that I do some stuff on. We got the YouTube automation. Again, it'd be really nice if we had a logo showing here. We have Trend 10. The next step is let's create a Kanban board for the video production. What we'll do is we'll set up the Kanban board for the videos. We have Trend 10, we have the channel set up. There's an add button. Let's see what this gives us. We can do a list. This time we'll name the list as we go. We'll say videos. Create them. We now have this concept of to do. If we want to go from list format to Kanban format, we just click the board button. We can see things going from left to right. I'll jump over to Visual Studio Code. I have a list of the ideas or tasks that would need to be done when creating a video. I'm just going to copy that, create a new window. We don't need this first one because we've already got the list created called videos. I'll select them all and shift tab them in. The idea of this little bit of information about what each task goes, do we need that within our tasks? We probably do, but they're not easy to just copy and paste from this format into ClickUp. Remove these little bits as we go, and now what we've got is just a list of tasks that would happen in order. I will rename one of them. This is definitely keyword research. This is video research. That's the backlog. Then we've got the YouTube title, the thumbnail, a concept called GPT bots, but a better way of thinking about this, and that might be what a staff member might be using, but this is really just part of the script editing. But we've already got a script, so we won't do that. If I was to do things in order, would I do the intro before the script? This is a hard one to decide. It depends. If you do the intro first, which is like when you do the YouTube title, it really informs how the script should be written, but then there's probably a time where the intro needs to be redone after the script because you never know what direction the script is going to go down. I might just put in another thing called intro edit. That will cover the situation that the intro has been done, the script has been written, driven off the intro, but now the intro might be a little bit wrong. Let's recreate it. The other thing that I've missed when thinking this through, partly this is because I'm moving into a YouTube automation process where other people will dictate how they want to do the flow versus how I think about it if I was doing it purely myself. And the script writing gets done, there is this backwards and forwards that goes on during that time. Then the video gets created. You can see here, I've maybe mixed in a few concepts. I might just move the script up. These can really be the video creation, intro, outro, and video body. This might make a lot more sense in the workflow that I'm seeing coming to life. I'm just going to use the multi-cursor to get rid of all these dashes. We don't need any of them. I can press Command A to select everything, Command C to copy. I can just go over to ClickUp where I'm paste these in. I'm a little confused around this. I don't think they're tasks. Let's just paste them in. It should allow us to create multiple tasks, which is great, but I don't think this is going to fit the Kanban board style. That's right, these items are all meant to be across the top. I'll come back to list format, select them all. Now, is there a way of selecting them all up here? Not really, so we'll click them this way. I think you can press Shift click to do this. We will delete them. We need to look at these statuses. We'll click here, new status. I've just been adding a couple of these tasks manually and I thought this feels wrong. It doesn't feel like the right way to do it. You can see if I go to the Kanban board that things are starting to come together. The order may or may not be right, but I thought, how do you solve this? Just had a quick look over on Google search. It told me to go try this area. We can find that, I think it's in views, list settings. Look at that, we got a list of statuses. Now, this means we can alter them. I wonder if we can change the color here. The backlog would probably be gray. I could probably color code them because there's so many of them just by section, I think. What have I done? Now, I tried a couple of attempts to get the list statuses right for the Kanban board and didn't realize that there was a section called statuses. I was creating some in an odd fashion. I think what I'll do is I'll delete this. I don't know whether there's a way of deleting them easily. What we're looking at is a custom set of statuses for this space. But I believe it might be nicer if I just created a new template. I think we'll call it video production. That might be a good name for it. They got rid of the word custom. This one is definitely going to be backlog rather than to do, because we don't know whether it's going to be done or not. It needs to be evaluated. You can add statuses. Now, you can't add multiple statuses at once. So I'll quickly just be going backwards and forwards between the Visual Studio section and the status section, paste them all in one at a time. Now I've just finished off putting in the statuses manually. I didn't have to set the colors as you add a new task. I'll just show this. Press A for a status. It just automatically picks the color. I just went with whatever it decided. We'll just delete that one. One of the things I'm thinking with the colors is that I might just have the same color for, say, the role. So there's a different role for a person who might be researching the keywords and the video idea versus the person who's doing the thumbnail versus the person who's doing the script writing. There may be multiple steps in the script writing process at different levels. And the video editor. One thing we also haven't put in here is actually the publishing of the video, like how does it get up onto YouTube, when does the description, the thumbnail and the title get pasted in, is there a follow-up process for, say, A/B testing of the thumbnails, etc. So there's more statuses we can have. They are for different roles, different types of people. This is where I feel the color of each of these statuses might make sense to be based on the role. And that way, if you are the thumbnail person, you might just look at the blue ones. If you're the video editor, you might just look at the green ones and you work through them. But this is for future. Let's now hit save. I've created these fake tasks called A, B, C, D, E. Go to Kanban board And now things are starting to make sense. This goes from left to right. Let's check they're in order. So a backlog, a whole lot of video ideas. And one of the videos has gone into keyword research. From there, it's going into video research. Since this might be the same person, they could be blue. Then we move over, and once this video research and of course the keyword research is done, it can go over to the person whose only job is to do titles. They do the job. When they're finished with it, they would move it over to the thumbnail person. The thumbnail person would have different information provided, the keyword that was initially thought of, some research about the video, the title that was decided upon, and that person then can create a thumbnail based on all that knowledge. And where is that knowledge? It would be actually inside the task. There'd be comments like, I did research for the keyword. I came up with X-Men versus Spider-Man, might be what it is. Another person or the same person would add in another comment. Here is a lot of info about X-Men, and that would just go on and on. They might have used ChatGPT, they might have done other research. And now that it's with the thumbnail person, we can see the status that it's at here. They can draw an image. What I did was I just took a screenshot. Let's just paste it in, add that as a comment. Now there is a thumbnail ready to go. We may have additional statuses later on for whether I accept the thumbnail, like I'm the channel manager or the owner of the site. Do I like this thumbnail? That might go off for me to review. That's probably not going to happen because it's way too much micromanagement for what I'm trying to achieve here. It's just one of the things that can go on. Another video along the lines is moved into video research. If we set up the emails, the roles correctly, we should be able to notify those people automatically. From here, the thumbnail person, let's just do it from within. Click this little button. That just takes it to the next status. We can see it's moved to the script person. They write a script, then they can send it all over to the video editor. Now the video editor has that collective set of information as well. They have the research about what the video is going to be, the keyword, the title, because I haven't broken down script into having an intro and outro component just yet. They will just record an intro. That might be something like the title just zooming across the page. It might be a little bit of a talking head where someone's saying the intro maybe in a diagonal section. So they're over here. There's a title page here. Once that's done, it can move over to video body. They create the video. After that, it could move over to the video outro. Now, as I talk this through, even in my own head, I can see areas that are really micromanaged. There probably is just going to be a concept of video. The video editor doesn't really want to do project management where they're just changing statuses because they went to different sections. This would only really make sense if you had specialists. There was one person who did the intro. There was another person that did the body. There was another person that did the outro, or maybe things like the lower thirds. Then we would want to do it this way. Let's just go modify that. This is what I love about a Kanban board, taking things through statuses. You get to think about, is this actually practical, or is this just way too much work for the team? This is the balance we're trying to solve. I think we can come back to list settings. It was list statuses. We can come into here. I like the color of the green one. I don't like that one. So I'm just going to click on the delete status here. Just rename this to video only. If you find this view to be a bit awkward, I think I am zoomed in a little bit. Let's just see. You can zoom out and you'll see a little bit more of the display. We can go left and right. You can change it back to list view. Look at it this way. This is, as a software developer, I usually work in this sort of mode because the tasks, they're not really related to one another. But in the case of tasks where there's a whole lot of steps, this Kanban board is just a really good way to work. Now, to recap on this section, what we have is we have a space called Trend 10. We will have a space later on called Magic of 10. Within that, we have the channel setup with 3 major to-do items. There could be some rearrangement going on here. Then we have another section, it's called a list actually, called videos. When we do start creating videos, I think we can just delete these quickly. I wonder if there's a nice bulk way. I can't see it, but this might be a good time just to switch back to list. We go back to list. From there, we've got this little radio button. You can just select everything you like, including that one. We'll click the delete button. Now everything's back to a clean setup, ready to go. So that's the end of this section. In the next section, what I'm going to do is start delegating tasks, probably to both myself and Adam, who I'm working with. This will be in the area of the channel setup. Adam wants to work through graphics. He's always been good at just drawing, art, stuff like that. He's learning skills in the area of digital stuff like using Midjourney and Adobe Photoshop, Photopea and Canva and all that sort of stuff. So anything that's in here that looks like it's related to a visual aspect, I'll delegate that to him, and anything that's more text oriented and especially related to the niche, the brand and all that, I'll probably do that, or I'll do that with him as a collaboration. And that's what we'll do in the next section.